The 20th century tested democracy like never before. Economic collapse, global war, fear at home and abroad. In the middle of it all, one president led longer than any other, not through strength of body, but strength of will. This is the story of Franklin Delano Roosevelt and how he reshaped America during its most dangerous years. Franklin D. Roosevelt was born in 1882 into a wealthy New York family. Unlike many presidents before him, he grew up with privilege. He was educated at elite schools, including Harvard. Public service was expected, not optional. Roosevelt entered politics early. He admired his distant cousin, Theodore Roosevelt, and believed government should play an active role in society. In 1913, he became Assistant Secretary of the Navy, where he learned how large institutions functioned under pressure. At this stage, Roosevelt seemed destined for a traditional rise to power. Then, everything changed. In 1921, Franklin Roosevelt was struck by polio. The disease paralyzed his legs. Many believed his political career was over. But Roosevelt refused to disappear. He relearned how to stand. He learned how to speak with deeper empathy, and he learned how to hide pain in public. This period reshaped him. He began to understand struggle, not as theory, but as lived experience. That understanding would later define his leadership. By the early 1930s, the United States was collapsing economically. Banks failed, millions lost their jobs, families went hungry. In 1932, Roosevelt ran for president promising bold action. He offered hope instead of fear. His message was simple. Government had a responsibility to act. Roosevelt won in a landslide. In his first inaugural address, he told Americans, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." Once in office, Roosevelt moved fast. His New Deal programs reshaped American life. Banking reforms restored trust. Public works created jobs. Social Security provided a safety net. For the first time, the federal government took direct responsibility for economic stability and social welfare. Critics warned of government overreach. Supporters saw survival. Roosevelt believed democracy could only survive if people believed it worked for them. As Europe and Asia descended into war, Roosevelt faced another historic challenge. At first, America stayed out of the conflict, but Roosevelt prepared quietly. After the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, the United States entered World War II. Roosevelt led the nation through total war mobilization, alliance with Britain and the Soviet Union, the shaping of a post-war world order. Despite failing health, he remained in office, guiding strategy, managing alliances, and planning peace. Roosevelt's legacy is powerful, but not perfect. During the war, his administration authorized the internment of Japanese Americans. Over 100,000 people were removed from their homes without evidence of wrongdoing. This decision remains one of the darkest chapters of his presidency. History demands honesty, even about admired leaders. Franklin D. Roosevelt died in April 1945, just weeks before World War II ended. The nation mourned deeply. He had served 4 terms, longer than any president before or since. After his death, term limits were written into law. Roosevelt left behind a transformed America, a stronger federal government, a global leadership role, a lasting social safety net. He proved that leadership during crisis requires action, communication, and resilience. Franklin Roosevelt did not promise perfection, he promised effort. In the darkest moments of the 20th century, he convinced Americans that democracy could endure, not by standing tall, but by standing firm.